Welcome to Coffee with Closers. In this series, we interview top real estate producers that are out there making big things happen in the real estate industry. That way you can learn from their failures and their big wins so you can start winning more in your real estate business. Hey, this is Chris with the Empire Real Estate Channel Coffee with Closers series. Today I'm here with a special guest, Megan Mut with C21. She is a female team leader and she has a lot of value to share with us today. So Meg, welcome on.
Thank you, Chris. So I want to thank you because I invited myself onto the show.
It's awesome. It's phenomenal. She did, but she's a great guest and she's going to have so much to share with us. You know? Awesome. So Megan, what led you into real estate? Just starting off.
So I, let's see, well, I'm with C21 first and foremost.
Yes.
I am a team leader. We are running our team from New Jersey to Massachusetts, hopefully internationally one day.
That's huge.
That's the goal. That's the trajectory. But real estate, it's the only thing that I feel like, I don't know, it just brought me to a place in my life where we moved up from Philadelphia, my husband and I was looking for jobs, and they all just weren't paying enough.
Yes.
And I never really felt like I was in a box. Like I never really fit in that box. And so I always have been an entrepreneur, whether it was, you know, making jewelry as a kid or just I've always been sort of doing something myself, and real estate was just, it kind of led us to this opportunity to just start taking classes up here because we had moved up here, we didn't know anybody, so my husband was like, why don't you go take some classes? But I will say that when we lived in Philadelphia, my husband, I would go to the grocery store, right, and he would be like, babe, it's been 3 hours. Like, where are you?
Gosh.
And I was like, dude, I just stopped at all of these open houses to see, so I started, like, just doing the math, kind of figure out, like, what our block was and how much people were getting per square foot, and just seeing different upgrades and the different layouts. So I've always been interested in it. I just
For sure, if you're doing all that before you've been licensed.
Well, I just liked it. I liked seeing
great.
So my husband and I, we do this thing called you're either hired or fired, right? And we play it all the time. So we go out to, whether it's like going out to Target and like the cashier is just amazing. She's like, hey, you know, you got to sign up for this like credit card company. Awesome. She's like, do this and this and this and this. And we're like, dude, you're hired. Or like somebody on the phone that's terrible and they don't even, you're like, hi, can we do this? They're like, no, fired. Hang up, fired.
I love it.
So hired or fired.
That's
awesome. It's a great like Saturday afternoon. Anywhere you go, hired or fired.
That's actually really cool. I've never heard that before, but that's awesome.
We're hired or fired, yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah. So wait, I want to ask you though.
Yes.
I know like you're supposed to be interviewing me, but like you have like almost close to 2,000 subscribers.
Not yet. Almost 1,500.
Okay. We're getting there.
We're
After this one,
yes.
We're gonna hit 2,000, guys.
Let's hope.
We're gonna hit 2,000.
That's it.
But how did you get started doing the
YouTube?
Yeah, the YouTube.
So honestly,
the YouTubes.
I just kept posting and posting and posting. Right now, we're almost at 100 videos. So
yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
There's a lot, and we're starting to do more long form content. Like this, and I'm finding that that's working pretty well. Not everybody watches the long form stuff. Some people like the 10-minute videos, but a lot of people do, and then that drives them in to watch some of the other videos.
Well, like, how do you learn about real estate? I learned from YouTube.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true.
People are like, I want leads. You're like, you're gonna have to do this yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do this yourself.
Nothing's handed to you in real estate.
No, it's not.
The failure rate's so high that I think having a resource out there where it's just not me talking to people, it's also other experienced agents sharing their stories.
Well, and that's
huge.
And that's the thing too, is like I remember when I first started, I was interviewing mentors, you know, and you realized that like one of the mentors that I had interviewed, he had like lived in Rhode Island his whole life. He literally bought his grandmother's house, you know? So he is like invested in his sort of local sphere of influence. So for me, I was like, you're fired. Like,
yeah.
Cause I can't, you know, like I can't, we're not the same person. Cause like I moved up here from Philadelphia. I didn't know anybody, like nobody. Not even somebody to come and like close the garage if I left it open, you know.
Oh my God. So how does that work? So if there's someone out there right now that's thinking about making a move to a new city and then starting their career, you know, as a brand new start.
Yeah.
We always get sold this idea that you just have to go to your sphere of influence and don't
family and friends.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but what if someone doesn't have that option with yourself?
I say like F the family and friends.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I say like call some people up that you don't know.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I did a lot of things. I made calls, for sale by owners. Typically, I door knocked. I was like 7 months pregnant, and I'm like in Converse's like door knocking.
Oh my God. That's dedication.
This is hysterical. So I had this one house that I saw like had gone off the market, and it was in my neighborhood. And I ended up knocking on that door like at least 7 times, enough so that somebody like across the street had taken a picture of me from behind.
That's awesome.
Like, being like, dude, there's a girl stalking you, and she's like super pregnant.
Oh my God. Yes. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Funny.
So how did you manage that? Like, you know, being a mom and then being as successful as you are in real estate. How does that work?
I mean, so I think what's really important is, I think real estate for me, the reason I take this so seriously is because it's the only thing I have. Like, it's the only thing I want.
Yes.
It's not even have. It's like, it's the only thing I want because I get to do whatever it is I want to do. It's my business. It's mine. Nobody can tell me, how to do it, how to build it, how to market it, and how to be myself. So something that like I really thought was super important for everyone on my team was it's not like you have to dress this way and you have to be this way. Mm-hmm. I had everybody sign off on it's Bushido, the seven virtues of a samurai. And the biggest thing was like be a warrior but have integrity. Yes. Be honest, be yourself. And so how is and also like I think that real estate, I love it because you're always learning something. Like every day is something new, and you have to go out there and like connect with other people and find a solution to a problem. Whether it's like, you know, today I had to call like a person for an estate sale to sort of see like, how do you do the estate sales, or like a 1031 exchange? Like let me do that. You know, let me find out as much information as possible. That's also really what we do for our team as well, is like, what value do I add to you?
Yes, I love
like
it.
It's not just a passive like, oh, I'm just gonna get mine because I'm here and I'm doing well. Exactly. It's like as long as we can, it's really about building a team where we all go up, you know, where we all elevate. It's not huge. One person just getting leads and then sort of handing them out, because that's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
I don't believe so. Mm-hmm. Especially, you know, with what's going to happen in the market. So I really want to be able to make sure that this is funny. So Don was like, Don Martone, if you guys don't know him, he's the Rockstar Realtor. He's my jam.
He is, yep.
Yeah, he's my brother for sure. So, but you know, we're interviewing people and we're kind of like, who do you want to be around? Legitimately.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Like, be where you want to be who you want to be with, and I just think that that's like really what we should start thinking of, is like making sure that the people who are negative, who are telling you no, don't do it. And there's always going to be people that are doing that, especially in real estate. I mean, how many people were like, you're going to sell a house, you're going to be a realtor? There's a million realtors. You're like, I know, trust me.
Yep. It's true, but the negativity is the worst thing in the world because it's just a downhill.
It's kind of the best thing and the worst thing all at the same time. I'm like, tell me I can't do it.
It is.
Tell me I can't do it because I'm gonna do it.
I mean, like other agents that are negative.
Oh yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's
No.
a bad thing, especially for your team or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not the best thing in the world.
No, I don't want someone who wants something handed to them. I don't want somebody, because nothing in life is handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like working out. Not, you know, again, Tom Martone, if you've seen him, he works it out. But it's like you can't like have somebody else work out your body. You can't have somebody else like have you, you know, eat consciously. You can't have anybody. It's you. At
It's
the
all
end
your
of the
choices.
day.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So if you had to start your career over again, what would you do to get your career off the ground?
I think the first year of any business, this is kind of a little bit of what we were talking about, but I think, you know what, I actually don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets because it's like it happens as it should, you know?
It does.
And I feel like, at least for me, I've always been committed because I do have 2 kids. You know, I have a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old.
That's
and
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yep.
Well, yeah,
That's
like,
awesome, though.
Yeah, people are like, you know, I understand you have 2 kids, and I'm like, yeah, you don't, because like, there's like fingernails I have to cut, and and so toenails, 2 sets of them, and then mine.
Yep.
And like all these things, you know.
And then you have real estate, so it's like having 2 full-time jobs.
It is,
lot.
but like, you know, I've started like getting up at. Yesterday I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But getting up super early.
That's very early.
A little bit of like meditation. So we have like a sauna in our house. I was like, sold. We're getting this out. We got a sauna.
That's awesome.
But it's like a nice like 15 minutes where I could just kind of sit there and be quiet and be by myself. And it's really the most like creative time that I have in the morning that I feel like I can really get it done and have nobody asking me for anything for like a couple hours.
That makes sense. So you have a good morning ritual in place to kind of get off the ground and get going.
Yeah, so I guess
huge.
like that would be probably, maybe if I started off again, it would be like having a really early morning like
Game
ritual.
plan.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, all right, let me rephrase that a little bit. So if you had an agent on your team come to you and say, what things should I be doing to get my career off the ground? Say a brand new agent, what things would you tell them?
I always ask them, like, what do you like to do?
Okay.
What do you like to do? So, or like, what experience have you had in the future? So I've been hiring people that are, you know, it's kind of their second profession, but it's more like a midlife crisis where you're like, I'm done with all that and I'm trying to sort of go on to something different. I really am committed to this. But I think I would tell people that number one, you just have to like try and you have to be really okay with like not knowing and being able to find out though, being able to like uncover, you know, needs of people and also, you know, making sure that you're just always committed to your client as well. I always say like, don't ever be desperate. That's why I think that, I think part-time agents, I think it's a liability, for part-time agents because this is, the biggest investment of most people's lives. It's something that's really important. It's their retirement, it's their kids' education, and like we're dealing with like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Yes.
And a lot of emotion.
A ton.
Too. So like as an agent, you are a therapist essentially, and you have to be able to make sure that your anxiety level and that you don't take on other people's stuff. So again, like this idea of sort of meditation, and it's not like a meditation all the time, but so there's some days, and I'm sure you know this, but you get those calls where like everything is like, it's like the appraisal is low and the house is gonna fall down,
so
you know, and you're like, And you're like, because you're a person, like we're people, you know, and we're people and we're like in the trenches with the most emotional experience, typically.
All the time. Yeah, and sometimes multiple at the same time.
Right, and
it's
like
crazy.
just trying to keep a level head. So I think that's something that's really important in real estate. And sometimes I'll literally like grab a YouTube video and I'll say like, you know, 10-minute guided meditation, and while I'm driving, it's like,
nice.
Let it go. You are powerful.
It's awesome. Hey, it works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they say meditation is one of the most healthy things you can do.
It is. It just lets you like let it go.
That's
you know?
what you need sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially in this business.
Yeah,
like,
totally. But like, so what helped? Why did you want to start interviewing other people about real estate? Because you needed that? Like, I mean, why?
So honestly, I think there was content like this out there, but it was very dry and it was a lot of Zoom, and I think it wasn't holding people's attention and they weren't getting the value that was really there out of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take it and make it a little more spicy, a little better.
Yeah.
So agents can go out there and have success in their first, say 1 to 5 years. Because the failure rate's almost 90%.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people think it's like nice cars and it's easy.
They do.
Like, dude, you got to put in the work. Like for any business, you have to put in the work. You have to be committed. You have to be really committed. And like, it's like taking like a 40-hour week and having everybody do 40 hours. And then like, we're over here doing like, 60, 80-hour weeks.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
It's huge. And the thing is, from the outside, it doesn't appear to be that way.
No.
It just looks like a very easy, laid-back thing. But when you're actually in it, you're always on the clock. You're always going. So.
Yeah. I'm not just sitting at a desk, like, waiting for it to be 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No.
You're always on.
It's 3 in the morning. I gotta get up.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it.
It's like...
So, I know you mentioned you were door knocking while you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Did you have any success with that? Would you recommend that to an agent?
I did, because you actually end up getting, like, it doesn't mean the person, so I think that real estate, like, first of all, everybody owns property or knows somebody who owns property or is renting or owns a house or owns multiple houses.
Yes.
Like, people own shit.
They do.
Yes. So anyone you're talking to is essentially a potential lead. So door knocking was like it was just about going out and acting. Like, it doesn't mean that it was the most successful thing. And that's okay. But as long as you're like if you're like committed, you're like, I'm going to walk for an hour and knock on a bunch of people's doors, random people's doors. Number one, it's like, it's action. Number two, it's also just like getting your pitch down. Like, what is your pitch? Your like 2-second, and I would say like, hey, my name's Megan Mut. I'm your local real estate agent. How long have you been living in this house? Like, you got a house, you know what I mean? Like, I know you're here, we're doing it,
100%.
Yeah, so even if it's not like somebody who is immediately ready to sell, the fact of the matter is, like, real estate is a long-term game.
Very long-term.
Especially if if you want to be in this business, it's not like a wham bam done, thank you ma'am. If you're spending time with your clients, they should never be hiring anyone else. Ever.
100%.
Ever.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think that's the other thing is like about adding value. So like, okay, so door knocking was great because I was like out there, I was doing it. I did FSBOs. I actually did a lot with, again, that goes back to like, who are you? So like, I'm a mom, okay? So I started getting on like, mommy groups, going to that with my kids, and it's like people do want to shop with their friends. So sometimes like it was nice to be able to like bring Isabella like with me and like go look at houses, because the fact of the matter is women are buying houses.
Yes, they are.
Actually, women are buying. I think actually like single women are probably like one of the biggest solo purchasers.
Groups, yeah.
Yeah. So like we're buying houses, and I think real estate happens at 6 different times in your life. So you're either like a first-time home buyer,
yes,
you're getting married, right? You're having a baby, you need a bigger house, you're downsizing,
Yes.
right? Oh wait, before that maybe you're getting divorced, you know,
Yeah,
or you die.
yeah.
So I always think like there's 6 points that people like in their life are typically buying a house, and that's just for the regular kind of consumer.
Yes.
So I always say like do activities around that. Like maybe it's maybe you were like a former wedding planner, right? And like so do like contact all the people, all the purveyors that you would have for weddings. Like maybe it's a wedding planner, maybe it's a florist, maybe it's a like whoever. Or, you know, people who, you know, work in assisted livings or with like the elderly. You know, people are going to need to transition from maybe their house to an assisted living. So doing things around those like lifetime experiences are super important. Got it.
That's awesome. All right, so that makes sense. So you're saying more or less people might have a sphere of influence, or they can get into a group that they might be able to relate to, and get some referrals or get some business out of that.
Yeah.
So what lead sources are you and your team focusing on? Like, what would you suggest to somebody?
It's we're doing like individual projects because everybody on my team is sort of different. So
that's great.
Yeah. So I have one woman who is she has worked in hospice and home care, and her sphere of influence is that. We are designing a program for her to be able to market to specifically to her referral sources that she like already has. So I think like begging mom and dad to like, please give me your biggest investment.
Yes.
I don't think that that's like a sustainable way either.
It's not.
So I feel like if you're going out and you're getting your own business that is not your family or your friends, then who's going to want to do business with you? Your family, your friends, because you're adding value. You already are, you're going out there, you're educating yourself, you're educating them as well.
Yes.
You know, so something my team's doing is like, I'm like, just come with me. Like whatever I'm doing, you're coming with. So
I like that.
Whether it's, and it's good because like it gives you, I just show them like what the day is really like. So I'll have people come here in the morning and we'll look up, you know, properties that I need to look up for an investor. And we're sitting there and we're going through the houses and what he's looking for. And then what I'll do is I'll find another house and I'll call my other investor, Jim. I'll be like, dude, I found a house in North Smithfield. I'm like, does anyone have a house in North Smithfield that we need to flip?
Nice.
But it's like, so, you know, so it's always like constantly, you always have to be making connections, like with whatever you're seeing, whatever you're doing, and connecting with people to add value to them, to their situation, what have you.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what daily activities would you focus on, and what do you recommend agents focus on, you know, in general? Like what things should they do to make a perfect day? Because I feel like so many agents get lost in
the sauce, yeah.
Yeah, they just get mixed up and their day's a mess and they don't get a lot accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my day is a mess sometimes too, but I kind of give myself that time in the morning to do emails. I'll do emails. I will check the market, sort of see what's come up. And then I will work on typically marketing, like any projects that I'm working on. So, for instance, also like, not only do I sell real estate, but my husband and I own a CBD company. Here it is.
Yes.
If you guys can see it. So cannabis and real estate, man. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's what you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
You
it's
can do whatever you want. So typically, I'll do some marketing and stuff for this as well. So I typically do that in the morning. Anything that is like needs attention and needs like a half an hour to an hour of my like undivided attention. And then I typically, again, you know, we're not all perfect here.
No way.
We're not all perfect here. I'm super ADD. So I try to then, you know, make some calls in the morning, follow up with people, give them calls. And what's nice is like, I think what people have a hard time doing is like, understanding how to follow up with value to their clients.
For sure.
So I think like what's kind of important is like being educated or doing something that like you're interested in or that your client might be interested in. Like, you know, the other day I was like looking for a client. I was like, oh my God, this house looks beautiful. It's perfect. It's like this beautiful colonial brick house. And then you start going through it and you're like, this is horrible. Like the rest of it was horrible. You know, it had like green carpet and it was amazing. It was amazing. But I was like, let me just take a video of this and like, you know, send it to her as a joke. We're like, oh yeah, this is beautiful. Oh, no, we're not gonna
Yeah, right.
But like it doesn't, you can be like, you can have fun in your business.
Yeah, it's
like,
awesome.
You're just, it's just about like, you know, I want to be friends with most of my clients. Some of them I'm like, you're fired.
Yeah, right. Yeah, enough of that.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
How many people have you fired before?
Not too many.
Not too many.
No, very few.
Yeah.
But some you just can't.
Yeah. Well, it's all about like preface, like the pre-framing of like, hey, listen, this is how this relationship's gonna go.
Exactly.
You know, don't call me at 1 o'clock. I've had people do that.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Do not do that.
I know. That's a tough call. That's a tough call.
It's like you're fired.
Yeah.
If you call me any earlier.
Yeah.
or any other time.
I've had a 2 a.m. call. I'm like, can't do that.
No. People are crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, so what was the question? Super ADD.
So, what to focus on?
What to focus on? I think being where you want to be. So some of the other things too, I would do like, let's say you're a firefighter and you can create whatever you want. So whether it's like marketing with a loan officer and you guys can go in there and say like, hey, I have a, you know, essential person or worker, you know, thank you, and it's $500.
A buyer program.
Yeah, a buyer program, and you just go to like every single fire station, or you know, if you have a lot of clients that are nurses, like if you're a previous nurse or your mom's a nurse, and you just go in and talk to people.
Yes.
So really like finding how to connect with people as much as possible. But I'm definitely like a people person, but I do like making calls and I always start off with my FSBOs. I'm like, what am I, like, the 15th agent that's called you?
That is usually true.
And, well, they laugh. They're like, yeah, 20 or like 12 or whatever it is. And so, you know, it's not about, like, selling people on this thing. It's just about, you know, being yourself, being honest, being confident in your abilities, and that one first ability is just, you know, make sure that you're being honest.
Yes.
You have like sometimes people, they're like, hey, I can get you 10% off. Like it's like 10% over, and you're like, ugh, stop.
Yes.
Can you?
It's too much.
It's too much.
You got to make real connections.
Real connections. That's real estate.
That's the key.
It's real estate.
Yes. That's the whole thing. Is you got to make real connections.
You do.
And if you start, you know, you lead off with selling somebody.
Yeah.
You're usually going to turn them off.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of like not cute.
It's not good. It's really not.
It's not cute.
So Megan, what made you decide to start a real estate team? Because you just started that up this year, or was it last year?
I just started up, I don't know, like when my kid was 2 weeks old.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Like 2 months ago, yeah.
Oh, all right. So
just
pretty recent. So what was the idea behind that?
So you know, something you had talked about earlier was like the sphere of influence. So
yes.
From moving up from Philadelphia, New Jersey, my sphere of influence was in New Jersey, and my husband's from Connecticut, so sort of New Jersey, Connecticut, and I have all these referrals that are there. Like I have millions of dollars that are under contract in New Jersey and in Connecticut as referrals. So
that's huge. My
thing is, again, adding value. You know, we're like, why didn't you refer me? Why didn't you use me as a referral? Well, you didn't add value to have somebody pick up the phone and call you.
Yes.
So this is hysterical. So I had one of my friends, he just like sold his company out in California. It's just like, it's awesome. You know, like, can you imagine selling like for millions of dollars?
That's awesome.
Just like,
that's huge.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm like super proud of him, and we were chatting. So he's got like, you know, he's got a little bit of money to spend on on a condo out there, which is $1 million in San Francisco. That's crazy.
Nice.
But he's like, it's not even, he's like, it's not even that much, but it's a lot, you know?
Yes.
So anyway, I call him and he goes to me, I was like, dude, I can help you find an agent. And he was like, well, oh no, he was like, what do you know about, I can help you. And he goes, well, what do you know about like San Francisco real estate? I said, I don't know anything about San Francisco real estate, but I know what questions to ask your realtor.
Yes. Yes. That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I have all these referrals that are outside of Rhode Island, and I really felt like I needed to sort of tap into that. And what was nice was like, COVID happened, right? So you kind of start thinking about systems. You start thinking about how to expand, how to do your business differently, how to just like be better in general. And so I started, and I was having a baby, which is crazy during COVID. Can you imagine being pregnant during COVID?
Yeah. Wow.
I at one point I was like pregnant. I'm like getting in the car to go to the doctor's office, and I was literally like, "Am I gonna die?" Like walking, because like when it first started, it was like, "Are we gonna die?" You know, like this is crazy.
That is scary.
It was pretty intense. But so I'm having a kid, right? And I'm thinking like I want to give myself a little bit more time this time after.
Yes.
To be able to like get back to work. I was still doing deals like before I got a C-section in the
oh my god.
in the like OR prep. I was like, okay, all right, take it away.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But it's like, so I started thinking about, all right, so then I hired like a transaction coordinator. I hired a scheduler, and so that I could start giving off these things, because like the fact of the matter is, nobody is good at anything. Like nobody's good at all things. So kind of choosing like what you want to focus on is super important, and putting your efforts into like the thing that gives you joy, the thing that you like to do, rather than paperwork. It's like not my. Yeah, it's just huge. And some people love that. Like some people don't want to talk to people. They just want to like go in, do their work, and get it done, and that's it. And so I started. I hired a transaction coordinator, a scheduler, and like, can you look for this person? Can you look for that person? And then with that, I realized like, okay, so when I start taking stuff off of my plate, it kind of allows me it opens me up to do more things. And for me, it's always kind of been like teaching people and sort of allowing people to like, to feel good in their lives by what they've done and like what they're accomplishing on their own.
That's great.
And so that was kind of like the team idea, and I just feel like you just have to go into things without like with good intention.
Yes.
But you can't overthink it.
Right.
It's like analysis paralysis,
It's true.
They're like, and that's what happens with realtors too. They're like, I gotta get my business card. Fuck your business card.
Right. It's not even
a big deal. No. And so sometimes like I literally already have it for my team. I'm like, listen, they're done. Just order them. Yeah. Or I have another girl who's like, she's super like design conscious, and like she does beautiful stuff. So I was like, do it however you want to do it. Just make sure the 2 logos are on there.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. And just giving people like autonomy, and
I like that.
That's good. Like feeling like, okay, I have a say in this. I can do it like I want to do it. So I think that's the vibe that we're going for.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. Now, obviously, you want to be careful. Like you want to be selective on who you bring on.
Absolutely.
You don't. So, if someone were to start a team out there,
yeah.
What advice can you give to somebody that's starting a team that on hiring? Like who should you pick? Who should you avoid?
Yeah.
What kind of agents should you really look for?
Yeah.
And which ones should you just say, hey, look, it's probably not a good fit?
Yeah. Well, I picked my people.
Yeah.
I kind of handpicked them.
That's good.
I was like, you, and you. And then, but I think, again, my mantra lately has been like, be where you want to be who you want to be with. So I'm looking for people who have a different skill set but are still interested in real estate.
Okay.
So for instance, like I have a contractor and he's been flipping houses and he just hasn't been on this side.
Yes.
And so, you know, I'm able to bring him to my listing appointments as well. Like adding value, being like, hey, listen,
That's great. Yeah.
new investor. I got this guy. He'll tell you how much it's really going to cost, you know, to build it.
That's awesome.
So
yep.
I think, you know, I literally my contract is that seven virtues of the Bushido samurai, and it's about being a warrior, being honest, remembering that like we are a team, you know.
Yes.
That we're, you know, that I'm also if I'll bring you somebody as well, but like we're both gonna do it together, you know. So it goes like both ways. I don't want people who want something handed to them. And I know that people will build teams in different ways. But I'm trying to build like an empire. So why am I gonna have people who like suck? Or I mean like why am I gonna have people who like don't want to work, they're gonna complain, they want leads? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it because it's a waste of time. And like that's really
no, it's true. Yes.
That's really like what it's come down to is like the time is the most important is the most valuable thing that we have.
100%.
And it's invaluable as well.
Yes.
Like so my thing is like I want people that are excited about real estate. And guess what? Like if you want a 9-to-5, if you want like just that easy money that comes every 2 weeks in your bank account, then this is not the place that you should be.
It's not. No way.
No, it's not. And so I don't want to be around. I don't want to do that. I don't want to build. I know you're supposed to build your team and build it very diversely. Apparently, you're supposed to have like, you know, the like top producers, and then, you know, the people who have just started, and then, you know, the people that do like 1 or 2 transactions a year. But like, I don't want that.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Because like, I'm like, okay, come on, come and shoot it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're doing 1 or 2 transactions on a team a year, there's a problem because there's a support system there, and there should be a system for that person to follow and have success. So 1 or 2 deals a year on a team, that person's gonna go through. You can't even live on that.
No.
I mean, that's horrible.
No.
So okay, all right, that makes sense. So
You're like,
so
what
big no. So what big challenges have you like faced starting a team? Like what things have you run into that has
I don't know. Everyone always goes, "You're gonna start a team." I remember someone who goes, I called a lot of team leaders that I like respect,
yes.
you know, and I wanted to see like why they started their team, like how they run it, what they give their agents, essentially, like what is the value added. What was the question?
Oh, yeah, so what was the biggest challenge?
Okay, biggest challenge was like naysayers, you know? It's like you talk to people and they're like, what do you mean you're going to start a multi-state team? You didn't even start one in your own state. I'm like, well, Rhode Island's the smallest state in the country,
It
so
is.
like, why wouldn't I know people, like I have relationships with people on the northeastern side, so like why wouldn't I do that? And I really think too is like you just like you're learning as you're going, so I think there's going to be other challenges that do come up, but I really do want to build a team that is that's confident, that we're doing different things. We're focusing a lot on marketing for some of the bigger clients that we have. I think there's going to be a lot of changes coming up in all industries really because of COVID. And so I think it's kind of going to be cool to like pivot and see how in real estate we can help with the marketing for some of the other industries that are out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your ultimate goal with the team?
That it's sustainable without me.
Okay, so you want to essentially build something, a business that can operate, and then maybe get out of production at some point, and then
No,
train?
so I like go into like a different production. So I, my ultimate goal is international real estate investments and development. So that means that, you know, something I didn't mention either is my mom's from Peru. I'm a Latina, even though I look like a white girl, but I speak Spanish fluently.
That's
the
awesome.
other thing.
That's huge.
On our team, yeah, we have 2 Spanish speakers.
Wow, that's excellent.
Well, yeah, I feel like I just can't believe that I'm going to say this, but the forms should be in Spanish if you're like a, so I can reference it.
Yes.
Because you're purchasing, like, this is a lot of money. This is a big thing. And like,
it is.
So anyway, so we have we have Latinos on our team, myself included. But my ultimate goal is to be able to work internationally. So, for instance, you know, my family is in Peru and in Venezuela, and so what's happening now is money in other countries sometimes isn't necessarily as safe as in the United States. So to be able to transfer, you know, that kind of money to a big development, like a condo development in Boston or something like that, and be able to make way more of a percent than you would ever make if your money's in the bank, but it's also sort of in a secure location. So it's kind of a good option, I feel like, for people who are, you know, don't necessarily, like, they want to invest in real estate, they want to invest in something, but they don't necessarily want to be a landlord. So being able to have like $100,000 that you could invest into a condo development and be able to get that money back within like 2.5 years and make a nice return on it. There's different ways to be able to sort of to do real estate in that sense, and so I'm really interested in that, and also what are they called, the zones, the opportunity zones. So what's happening is, have you heard of the opportunity zones?
I did with the new president.
Yeah, with the new, so it's basically like you know, 1031 exchanges where you're kind of able to, like, you know, defer taxes on your investment. So opportunity zones, like, people could invest in real estate projects that are happening there as long as it supports, you know, the local economy and hiring people. So my interest is using, it's called the EB-5 visa. So essentially in the United States, when you want to get a green card, it's going to cost you $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So so it's interesting, right? But that investment has to go into something secure, like real estate.
Yes. Okay.
So people would be able to say, like, let's say from China or from Peru or from South Africa or wherever, if they want to get a green card and have, you know, have their kid go to school here or something like that, they can leverage that, the visa or the green card, with the
real estate,
$500,000 that goes into some kind of real estate investment.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like, why start a multi-level team? I'm going international, dude.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's really awesome. So your team itself, what expectations do you hold them to? What expectations do you have with them, and what standards do you keep them at? Like, for example, if someone on your team does X, then you would say, hey, look, the door's there, you got to go. Like, what things do you expect them to do on a daily basis to be able to stay on your team? What are your standards?
It's like super basic. It's just being honest. My friend TJ Curran, he calls it a commission breath. Like, don't ever be desperate.
Yes.
Because desperate things they just make you do, like, you know, stupid things.
Mm-hmm.
So just being dishonest in whatever capacity, because your name's on it, and my name's on it too.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
So I just want people to you know, ask questions, get the right answers, and like to never do, just always be above board. And if anything like that, you know, happens, I'm gonna just be like, I'm all set. We're all set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really ethical.
Very
things,
ethical.
and it's all about honesty, morals, ethics. So those are the main things. Okay, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. I'm the same way.
It's like that's literally all we have.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know,
that's huge.
and I feel like you know, and that's all we have is our name.
Yeah, it really is. It's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's your 2021 goal?
My 2021 goal is to be able to build our team. I would like to have about 10 agents.
It's a good number.
Yeah, well, I was listening to your other, you know, I was doing some research on Chris Lynch.
He was watching videos.
I was like in the background cooking, like listening to the videos. But so I heard, you know, that's like a good number. I want to make sure that I'm doing like a lot of trainings, just like quick 20-minute trainings, so that my team can also use those. So it's like 1031 exchange, intermediary, 15 minutes.
I like that. That's good.
What's going on? How do we do it? And then we just record it and like put it up.
So you make it a little library of content that they can reference.
Yep.
So they don't have to blow you up all the time.
And use.
I like that.
So like put that on your Facebook page. Share it.
Yes, I like that. That's smart.
Because that's how
smart.
you get clients.
Yeah.
You just
add value.
Yeah.
Throw
add value
out
all
there.
day. And by adding value, it really allows you to value yourself and your abilities.
Yes.
You know.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a discount agent.
No.
Or a team leader.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be a discount agent.
No.
That's the wrong direction. It's a
No.
race to the bottom. So
Yeah.
I feel strongly about that. And there's a lot of agents doing that now. So some agents do it and they have success with it shortly, but I think when the market changes, I think they're going to box themselves into a corner where they're not really making any profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that sounds good. You want to build your team to about 10 agents. And then, so you want to get pretty
New
big.
Jersey to Mass.
That's great.
I would like to have at least like $10 million in like referrals out of you know, in California, and you know, everywhere in the United States.
Yes.
And then we will be pitching in Peru. We're gonna go down there in March. Yeah, so we're already working on some development projects. So we're going to be sort of pitching to people sort of what the opportunity is, what the investment is, what their, you know, their cap rate is, what you know, how much money they're going to be able to make back.
That's excellent. Okay. So what's your production goal? Like, what are you trying to hit for 2021 with you and your team?
With the team?
Do you have a number yet?
You know, I really should have a number. Why don't we like throw one out there? What do you think I should do?
You tell me.
No, come on, just throw a number out there. Be outrageous.
With 10 people, I'd probably say 50 to 70 million.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do 50.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
50 million next year, 2021.
No, I could do 50.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
With that many agents? I'd hope so.
I mean, I'd hope so too. But
Yeah.
Just
All
depends.
right.
Just depends how productive each one is.
All right. No, let's do 70.
70 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
And then we're gonna like talk next year.
Yes, I'll have you back
And you're
on
gonna
and
be
you can
like,
tell me all about it.
yeah,
how
and
it
I'm gonna be
works.
like, I did 100.
I love it. I love it. No, I think that's awesome. I hope you do. I really do. That'd be phenomenal. $100 million is big.
We'll say.
It's a big numbers.
Yeah, why not? Listen, if you don't dream big, you're never like, then you're just gonna be small.
Yes, and you're gonna stay that way. And you're gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
so my husband and I, we were watching. Have you ever watched Bravo Television's Below Deck?
No, what's
Okay.
that? What's that? Tell me about it.
These guys are on mega yachts, right?
Okay.
And it's all the drama below deck. So it's like the cook and this person and that person. But anyway, not about the television show, but it was more about like, why can't I be the person on the
Yeah, I like it. Okay. All right.
Right, so it costs $150,000 to rent it for the week. Let's say you have 10 people, 15 G's each, couple 30, if it's a couple 30 G's. So like that's my 40th birthday. That's what I want. That's my aspiration. That's right.
I like
And
that.
it's not even about it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about we live in a video game or in the Matrix, and we can really do whatever we want to do.
I like that. Yes.
As long as you're the only person that's going to hold you back.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You and your mind.
You and your mind.
Yep.
So if you expand your mind instead of retracting it, because people are going to say, you can't sell real estate. You're never going to sell a house. I have people tell me, you're never going to sell a house. And I'm like, okay, watch. But you know what I mean? So it's really about dreaming big and executing that and acting on it, because you can have these goals and these aspirations, but if you're not getting up at 4:00 in the morning, then you might not reach them.
You probably won't.
You probably won't.
It's true.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of agents, they earn good money.
Yep.
Right? But they don't really have a lot of money or a lot of net worth saved because they don't really invest, or they don't do those activities that would amount into a big net worth. So what's your take on that?
You mean they buy the fancy cars and they can't afford them?
Yes, that's what it is. Car payments and no assets.
Dude. Okay. For real though. If you are a real estate agent, make sure you buy your car cash. Okay?
Okay.
Buy it
that.
cash until you can buy another car cash. That's what I've done. And I drove around in a 2005 Toyota Corolla that I brought up here from Philadelphia, and I just sold it, and I just feel like I was, you just can't be, don't be broke. If you don't buy, if you can't afford, don't have a car payment. It should be an investment. So I believe making sure that you are always doing, you're having multiple sources of income, right? So make sure that you are purchasing property, make sure you're setting it aside. If you can make an extra $1,000, $1,500 a month, on a rental, that's super important. So same thing with, we own our CBD company, and number one, we're employing a lot of people, which is super awesome.
Yeah, it's huge.
We have a lot of people on our team, and it's nice to be able to have a different source of income. So, we have a cannabis company. We started that last year. It's an investment. You have to put time into it. It's still business. It doesn't just happen overnight. But then also making sure that you are investing in property. So we also own our house in Philadelphia. It's actually a single family home.
Oh, wow.
But it's right in the heart of the city. And what's really nice is when you have a house, somebody else is paying into that equity, right?
Yes.
So it's like having a savings account that you can tap into whenever you want. What I love about that as well is, let's say at some point you want to buy another house, you could potentially take out that equity and put it into another house. I don't necessarily always recommend that. I really have been focused on, what's the guy's name? Ramsey. Have you heard of him? He does
Dave Ramsey? Or
yeah, one of the financial guys.
Yeah, that's Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, so
Yep.
he talks a lot about don't buy things that you can't afford. So, make sure you pay off your credit cards, make sure you become debt free, make sure that you have you start off with $1,000 in your savings account, and you just continue to build on that. And it doesn't mean that starting a business or purchasing a house isn't going to take money. Sometimes you're the savings goes away for a minute, but it's an investment. So the goal is to really make that money back and some. So I think it's just like, I think it's really important for agents to own property, because I don't think they know what they're talking about unless they own a property.
1000%.
Like, what are you looking for in a house? You know, what are you looking for? What's the return that you need? What are the expenses that you're going to have? Does the house need a new roof? Like, there's $20,000 eventually, whether it's now or in, you know, another 5 years or 10 years. So,
yes.
So I think, like, you know, you could talk the talk, but you also have to, like, walk the walk.
1000%. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing too, is I think a lot of agents, if they took some of that money and those commissions and they started buying even one property a year, by the time they get to the 15-year mark, they're going to be a lot more wealthy than most agents ever could be just selling houses. Because it snowballs. It
totally. Like Gary Keller also, he's like the $1 million investor. So he was also like, every time I'm reading a book too, like, add value to your clients, I send it to my clients. I send it to my investors. Like, and they're like, oh, thanks, I was reading that. And every time they read the book, they think of Megan Mut, you know?
Awesome.
And so it's super, I just think, like, I think you have to be accountable. I think you have to be conscious, and I get it. Like, make sure, you know, I get it. You get those checks, and you're like, oh, let me go buy this, or let me go buy that. Mm-hmm. And, like, you could do that, you know, like, once.
Splurge a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But I think the other guy I listened to is Frederick Eklund, and, you know, he spends, like, a certain percentage on, you know, clothes and, like, appearance. And so I thought that was really interesting, because, like, I was riding around in my 2005 Toyota Corolla that I'm still upset that I, like, but it's about, like, he talks about essentially you could be the best real estate agent ever. You could be the most honest. You could be amazing at your job. But if you are giving someone, like, a Rolex in a plastic bag, or, like, in a plastic bag or a paper bag, then, like, that's the presentation part of it. It devalues
the product in a
sense. It does.
Yeah.
So so I think making sure that, like, you feel good, you look good, is super important, and that will just kind of that will propel you, I think, in levels that
For sure.
are, yeah.
And that's an investment in yourself, into your business.
Totally.
So it's still an investment. You're not going out there and buying, you know, a bunch of shit that you're never going to use.
No.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is, like you said, stack up multiple streams of income, passive income.
Always. You should always be making money.
Yes.
From, like, different things.
Different sources.
Yeah, different sources. Because the fact of the matter is, like, you are a paycheck away from poverty when you are employed by somebody else.
Yes.
And as long as you have a rental, a house, that extra income is it just makes your life, you're financially free, you know? You really are.
That's phenomenal. That is huge. So, Megan, any last words of advice that you want to give agents out there before we wrap this up?
Well, first I'd like to thank Chris for, I invited myself.
No, it's been awesome.
Thanks for coming to the CBD Relief Center. Just do it, crush it, be confident, be okay with failing. You got to get over shit really quickly. Like, you got to just, like, it has to come. You got to keep it moving. You always have to keep it moving. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do it. And if they do, you better go out and do it then.
So true. I like that.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me, though. I really appreciate it.
Of course, 100%. It's been a pleasure. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have any questions for Megan, definitely drop them in the comment section below.
Megan Mut.